Rachel Zegler, like so many kids raised on TikTok, she's all for infantada is the only global solution.
Wait, how often are you in line for the Snow White ride?
The fallout from the failure of the new Snow White movie has officially blown up. And now, it's hitting new levels. And right on cue, outspoken commentator Bill Maher has jumped into the conversation with his usual blunt, no-filter take. What he said hit so hard, it actually pushed Rachel Zegler, who's been staying out of the spotlight, back into the public eye to respond with a video of her own. So how did a simple movie remake turn into such a big mess? Well, get comfortable, because the story behind this flop is full of drama, backlash, and more than a few surprising twists. And honestly, it's the kind of chaos you can't help but watch unfold. But before we dive into the details, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our updates on stories like this.
Zegler, like so many kids raised on TikTok, she's all for infantada is the only global solution.
They're leaning into woke. Hardcore.
They're petrified of some kind of backlash.
Bill Maher didn't hold back when he called out Rachel Zegler's over-the-top social views, a criticism many felt was overdue. Zegler, best known for starring in one of Disney's biggest recent flops, made waves by acting like she was doing the studio a favor. Many are still unsure how she landed the role of Snow White, given her lack of star power, special talent, or connection to the character, who, by the way, is literally named for her fair skin. Instead of focusing on the story or honoring the original, Zegler seemed more interested in pushing a message. Her social media only added to the controversy, filled with dramatic, politically charged opinions that felt out of touch with most audiences. Maher even joked, "What do you expect from someone who thinks Infanta is the solution to a global crisis?" The irony? Those shouting loudest about progress often end up setting it back. In Zegler's case, it felt like she alienated the public before the movie even premiered, and the box office numbers proved it.
It's just so typical of the left. The progressives always finding a way to find their way back to doing something not progressive.
Rachel Zegler didn't just miss the mark. She completely lost sight of what made Snow White special in the first place. The magic, the charm, the timeless feel of the original? Gone. What was once a beloved Disney classic from 1937 turned into a textbook example of what happens when ideology takes priority over good storytelling. Sure, Zegler claimed she was just being authentic, but audiences weren't buying it. Moviegoers stayed away in droves. The whole remake felt off, from the casting to the crew to the music. Instead of feeling fresh or meaningful, it came across as forced, overly preachy, and completely disconnected from what fans loved about the original.
I mean, you know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Yeah. Weird.
I was scared of the original cartoon. I think I watched it once and then I never picked it up again.
I saw the logo and I went, that's my name, Snow White's up there, and I cried my eyes out. I think everyone's going to have their assumptions about what it's actually going to be, but it's really not about the love story at all, which is really, really wonderful.
So no prince, or a different kind of prince?
We have a different approach to what I'm sure a lot of people will assume is a love story, just because we cast a...
And just when you thought it couldn't get more awkward, it did. Rachel Zegler and Disney's push for a woke reimagining didn't just annoy a few people. It triggered a serious backlash from fans, critics, and anyone still grounded in common sense. But rather than stepping back or offering any kind of apology, Zegler followed the modern Hollywood playbook. She doubled down. She dismissed the original Snow White as outdated, insulted the very audience she was supposed to connect with, and took aim at critics like Bill Maher for simply speaking their minds. Instead of showing a little humility, she positioned herself as a victim, while tearing down the film that gave her a career in the first place. What could have been a learning moment turned into a full-blown PR disaster.
Disney deleted Someday My Prince Will Come and made a modernized feminist alternative.
They say all you have to do to make your wish come true is let it echo, 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 echo.
It's awful, generic. Never mind that the lyrics make no sense at all. All you have to do to make your dream come true is let it echo. Is it on a metaphorical level? What is that?
You can see exactly what's going on here. It's a familiar pattern. After flooding social media with tone-deaf takes, mocking the original Snow White, taking shots at longtime fans, and brushing off any criticism, Rachel Zegler suddenly flipped the script and played the victim, as if the backlash came out of nowhere and she'd done nothing to provoke it. let's be honest. It's a move we've seen time and again from Hollywood. Stir up controversy, come off as dismissive or arrogant, and then act blindsided when the public pushes back. Zegler's tweets and interviews practically invited criticism, yet she responded as though it was all unfair. Instead of owning her part in the mess, she leaned hard into the victim role. It wasn't just out of touch. It showed a stunning lack of self-awareness, wrapped in entitlement, and completely disconnected from how real people feel.
Everyone who hates when I win, the winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her. And I can only hope that despite my flaws, and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them, that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
Exactly. And honestly, I'm with Rob Schneider on this one. Snow White was always meant to be a sweet, magical fairy tale for kids. You know, the ones who aren't caught up in politics, social agendas, or online outrage. They just want to enjoy some popcorn and watch a fun movie with singing animals and happy ending. So why are studios turning these childhood classics into platforms for pushing modern-day messages? No one asked for that. Certainly not the kids, and definitely not their parents. Nobody sits down to watch Snow White hoping to get a lecture on feminism or colonialism. It's not bold, it's not revolutionary, it's just out of place. Let kids enjoy being kids. Not every classic needs to be rewritten to fit a trend. If you're trying to fix a story that stood the test of time, maybe the issue isn't with the story. Maybe it's with you.
And then what happened was they started making these decisions, and all you have to do is go back and look into a couple of years ago, the decision, you cannot win an Academy Award unless you have 40% LGBTQ, unless you have people, a certain percentage of color, the crew is this. And here's what you never hear from a 14-year-old, which is, those are the people who go see more movies than anybody else. Let's go see that new movie this week. I hear it's got 20% LGBTQ trans, and the boom guy was Native American.
Honestly, Rachel Zegler and Disney seem like the perfect match. Both more focused on pushing a message and preserving the magic that made these stories beloved in the first place. Instead of honoring the timeless charm of Snow White, they stripped away everything that made it special and replaced it with a lifeless lecture on modern-day activism. It's incredible how quickly they dismantled a legacy that had stood strong since 1937. What was once a tale full of heart, imagination, and wonder has been reduced to a checklist, forced updates, moral preaching, and awkward social commentary. And for what? So they can label it progress and pat themselves on the back. Let's call it what it is. They didn't reimagine Snow White, they steamrolled it. The fantasy? Gone. The music? Scrapped. The magic? Completely lost. What's left is a hollow, preachy remake that no one really asked for. If that's what counts as success these days, then Disney's really outdone themselves.
I think it's fair to say that no one on the right side of America can stand the star of this movie. And yet, Christian, you've seen the movie, and it appears that the filmmakers cobbled together enough salvageable material to make the movie itself quite nice.
Yeah, it's not a train wreck. I was expecting just that. And listen, it's not a great film. It's got its flaws. And this third act is completely rewritten to be more empowering. I think you know the drill. But listen, one of the reasons why Rachel Zegler sticks around is she's got a beautiful voice and she has some talent. So I think that certainly helps her because she's a PR nightmare. I don't know how anyone would hire